Well, welcome back to the madhouse. I said it wouldn't be too long, didn't I? I've got here a D8734 Boombox by Philips, and this thing is just as fiendishly complicated as it looks. Now, the owner had gears that went to Red Leicester cheese, and this unit does indeed contain the tower gear assembly that Dr. Cassette's unfortunate stereo professional did. Yes. Now, this is all servo assisted. There's a motor here that does that. There's a bigger motor here, which is more like Philips would usually use in a cassette recorder. And then you've got this motor here. And this motor here is what drives the fast forward, rewind and take-up arrangement. Now, having changed the Red Leicester gear in my usual way on both decks, there was only the one to do, thankfully. I found that although fast forward and rewind sort of worked, playback, the pull on it was very, very weak indeed. And my thoughts turned to, well, what on earth is going on here? Because there doesn't seem to be any clutch like there is on most cassette decks or reel-to-reels to allow for the take-up drive. And then it occurred to me, a thought came into my head. With the magnetron reel-to-reel tape machines that they made with the magnetron control, there are 3 motors in those too. One runs at full power to do rewind, unless of course you've got a really posh one, and then it does take up as well. The other does full power for fast forward, but it runs at a lesser power to wind on the spool table when playing back or recording. So could they have done the same trick with this? And the answer was yes, that's exactly what they'd done. And the motor was simply tired. It was a bad motor. And there it is, and you wouldn't think, would you, that just a little tiny motor like that could give all that grief, but it is tired out. On its low setting, well, a gnat could stop it, let me put it that way. So, a few years back, I was at the model engineering show in Brighton, I think, and I got hold of a huge number of little motors. And I seem to remember that they weren't very good for running model trains and what have you, but they were rather good for other purposes. And so this is what I've done. I've also changed the little capacitors on the back of it, which silence any crackle that might be present on the commutator. There's your worm gear that turns the tower gear. So with a bit of luck and a following wind, we might hear this beast sing again yet. I've already done this deck as an experiment, and yes, it does appear to work. So, oh dear though, what a way to do it. And if only they'd used proper gears. There's a Red Leicester one there, but again, it's alright. That motor spins the Red Leicester cheese gear there, and that turns the cam wheel there, and you can see below all the switching on the faceplate switch. Good heavens above. I mean, what do they think it is? Blackpool Corporation Vanback tram or something? They were full of a rather complicated switch gear. And come to think of it, they've preserved number 304, and it was on the Salvage Squad, the Channel 4 programme. And they did it all up, they put new resistor grids in, they found that the thing had jammed, and the swinging arm inside that closed and opened all the contacts in a rotary manner jabbed, causing the grids to remain on, and of course it burnt them out, starting a fire, and that was probably why the thing was withdrawn. But yes, do you know the only thing they didn't check when they put that van back machine back together again was the little motor and its gearbox. So of course it got as far as it got before, made a horrible graunching noise I suppose, stayed on the grids, and they wouldn't go from series into parallel, to use an old motorman's term. In other words, it had about as much go as as I do in the morning. Not much. Oh well, as much go as a politician. Well, anyway, so hopefully in a bit we'll see if this thing will work again. Hopefully it will, but can't promise anything. As always, thanks for watching, and see you again with part 2, possibly. Maybe edit the two together. Depends how I'm feeling, or if we have another spectacular lightning storm like we did last night. Anyway, bye-bye for now.